Man, you know what I love? I'll tell you what I love. I love rumors. I love speculating. I'll speculate with the best of them. And I've got some hot rumors for y'all. So let's get into it. Let's speculate. I want to firstly say, this is all unsubstantiated. And the source it is from apparently has a bad history of kind of yapping and leaking stuff, air quote, that is just total lies. But we're going to talk about it anyway because it seems really interesting. So let's get into it. Earlier today, over on the Deadlock subreddit, there was a post about a new rumor for the game from a fella named Metro. Now, I've never heard of Metro, but apparently he used to play Overwatch and would say he had a connect on the inside and was leaking stuff that was just bullshit. So, again, this is unsubstantiated. This is just purely speculation, but we're going to talk about it anyway. According to him, the word on the street is that Valve is reworking the entire item system in the game. Now, this would be absolutely massive. It would shake everything up and would practically change everything about the game rate because we have no idea what could change if that were to happen. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to play the clip and then we'll kind of dive into what he said. And I just want to, let's talk about it. Tell me down below. Do you think this is good? Do you think this is bad? I think it's interesting. And for a game that is this early in development, nothing matters. So it's the time to experiment and shake things up. So here's the clip and then we'll get into it.
So rumor on the street, chat, and I'm not confirming or not denying, it's actually a rumor. Rumor on the street is they're removing a lot of item slots. And they're gonna make it so I heard it's 2 items per, right? So 2 orange items, 2 green items, and 2 purple items, and then I don't know how many flex slots, probably 2 if I were to guess, if that is true. And then but the items in themselves will be more focused towards something. Right now, a lot of items are just stat boosters, right? Like they don't really enhance or change your playstyle drastically. Like, for example, in Dota, there's items that just change your playstyle drastically. There's something like the Fusel Blade that removes the enemy mana, right? There's something like Lincoln Sphere that, like, removes, like, abilities passively.
Alright, so let's chew on that for a second. They are potentially maybe planning to overhaul the item system and make it so there's only 2 of each color item. Having only 2 items per flavor of item type just seems crazy. That means every item is going to get reworked for the most part, and that would also change how you play, how you think about playing, how the enemy thinks about playing. And now he used a couple references to Dota, which I don't have any background in Dota, so while I love talking out of my ass, I'm not going to do it. But I did look up the items he was referring to, and we can kind of look at them and get a more in-depth understanding of what he's trying to articulate, because the way he said it, I was a little foggy on it. So the first he brought up was Diffusal Blade. Like I said, I don't know what any of these things are, so I looked them up, and wow, this is a lot of text, and you can read it if you want to, because it does get into some interesting points. We only really need to look at what the item really does, which is it gives a passive ability that removes 25 mana per attack, and it also grants you a purge ability that slows down an enemy over a 4-second interval, up to a 60% total slow speed. You can also use this item to remove any spell effects from you or an ally. So that's kind of interesting, because this kind of sounds kind of like debuff remover. This kind of sounds like maybe slowing bullets, you know, vaguely. And like this I can't think of a direct comparison, but just for the sake of it, you know, like with his example, these are multiple things that you can accomplish with multiple different items in Deadlock. It shows how you could maybe fold a couple different items into one to create a more superior item that maybe changes how you go about playing the game. So it's just one way that the items could potentially completely change in the coming weeks, months, or years. Because again, we are so early in development, nothing really matters right now. So this is the time for the devs to actually experiment and see what they can change to the formula. Now, I really don't think that it's awesome that they would remove so many item slots, because I think it's unique in that there are so many, and you can really change you can get a varying style, and like there's just a lot of customization that you can do. But Metro is right. A lot of it is just stat boosting. So it would be interesting to see abilities like this or items like this that completely change how you would think about your engagements, how you would think about team fights, farming. You know, there's a lot. It would change the economy of the game. You know, who knows how many souls items will cost, how many items will be in the game if this were to happen. It's going to change micro, it'll change macro, it'll change everything. So if this happens, I hope you're not too comfortable where you are, because it'll be like kind of a whole new game. Just will really change the effectiveness of what you can do, what the items do, and your thought process in, okay, I need to get an item that does X, Y, and Z, because now you're not going to have 4 different items for one specific slot that do a whole host of things. You're going to be a lot more tailored to a specific play style if this were to happen. So, like I said, all of this is completely unsubstantiated. This is fairy dust in the wind, so to say. Let's talk about it. Like I said, tell me down below, do you think this would be good for the current iteration of the map and the game? Because we just got a big shakeup going to 3 lanes. While it is unsubstantiating, and I don't really want to put stock into it, earlier this week, a post was made also on Reddit and on Twitter, where we are now. One of the devs confirmed that they are working on cool stuff. Holy shit, oh shit, the devs are working on cool stuff. Which is what I said too. But now, following this potential big rumor, you know, because this would be pretty cool. It would, like I said, it'll completely change the game if this happens. So tell me down below, do you think this is good for the game? Do you think this will change anything? How do you think it will change the game? I love a good shakeup. You know, like I said, I think it's great for the devs to iterate and get their experimenting out now, because the game, it is a smaller player base. So like they're going to hear more focused concerns from players, and will ultimately hopefully make them make a better product. Tell me what you think down below. If you like this video, think about subscribing. I appreciate it. Maybe we'll talk about more rumors in the future. Like I said, I love speculating. My name has been Kronos. Thank you for watching. I'll see you later.